Hi, I'm so happy to tell you more about food and give you some savvy food insights. I'm Elswin Rietveld and I'm from the Netherlands and I'm a kinesiologist, orthomolecular therapist and confidence trainer. Maybe you are familiar with muscle testing. Years ago, I think 12 years ago, I started out as working as a kinesiologist. And it's a way to communicate with the body to the subconscious part because 80% of our brain is happening in the subconscious area. And there I learned a lot about food and the effect of food on our body. And learning more about the orthomolecular background really triggered me into doing studies in that as well. And there you go more in depth into the biophysiology of the body. And it was really interesting the things I learned there. And some of them I will be sharing with you today. So, the secrets of Queen Bee. Let me ask you a question. You probably know about the beehive, the bee colony that has one queen and further they are worker bees. How does a queen come to existence? Have you ever thought about that? Okay, so a queen is fertile, she lays eggs, they develop and then the new bees are born. How come she can do this and the other bees not? Is there, like with wolves for example, like an alpha couple that creates bees, queen bees? Let me tell you, there is not. As you see in the picture below, you have the worker bees and they collect food and they feed all the little bees or larvas that will develop into bees. And when there is either a growth of the colony so that they will split, or maybe the current queen is getting older and weaker, so there is a need for a new queen, they create a new queen from the larvas. So let that sink in. They're all the same. And then they pick one that will become the new queen, and they are going to start feeding that larva differently from the others. And that food has a lot of antioxidants in it, vitamins, minerals, also called royal jelly. And because of that, this bee grows into being a queen. She's bigger than the other bees. She can reproduce, the others cannot. And a very big difference, depending on when they are born in the season, worker bees live between 5, 6 or 8, 9 months. And do you know how long a queen bee lives? Any idea? 6 to 8 years. So let it sink in. The only difference is the food that they will get. And that makes a difference between a smaller, infertile worker bee that lives 6 to 9 months, or a bigger bee that can reproduce and make sure that the colony is maintained and can live 6 to 8 years. Yeah, that is how important food is for us. And not only the macronutrients, I will tell you more about that in a bit, but especially the antioxidants, the vitamins and the minerals. They play an important role in how we are growing up and living as well. So I hope you can keep this picture in your mind and think about the queen bee and the royal jelly. So, the facts of the factory. When you look at our body as if it were a factory, there are macronutrients and micronutrients. And the macronutrients are basically carbohydrates, proteins and fats. And they are that what goes into the factory, and then something happens, and what comes out is energy and maintenance for this factory. So basically we eat food and we get energy in return, and we can when you cut your finger, it is repaired and all the systems are staying in place and working. But if you just drive stuff into a factory, nothing happens. So you need equipment and like hands on the band to work and cut and, to work with all this that comes in. And those are the micronutrients, which are the vitamins and the minerals that are helping us with this. So it's important to have a balanced diet with carbohydrates, and preferably the good ones, because there are a lot of really quick, like white flour sort of carbohydrates, but also more long-lasting, like oats and things like that. And of course there are a lot of carbohydrates in fruits and vegetables, which are actually good for us because we need them, but not in the balance that we are taking them in most of the time right now in our diets. We need fats. People that want to lose weight often steer away from fat, whereas the good fats actually help weight loss. And if you eat too much carbohydrates, so there is too much, much more than that you actually need for the energy, it will be stored in stock. So there will be another factory and they will store everything that is in surplus from the intake of the carbohydrates. Ergo, your body gets heavier and you are more fat. So what they do, because they cannot store carbs, they turn the carbs into fat and store it into your body. I don't know if you knew that, but for me it was like, what? Then there's fats, and your body needs fats to function properly. For example, each cell of the body has a membrane, and those membranes are made out of fats. And the more fluid those membranes are, the better the cell can function. And different kinds of fat, also omega-3, omega-6, play a role in that. So you need to look into fats, but the good ones. So fatty fish, olive oil, cocos oil, things like that are the good types of fat. And plain butter is just better for your body, little bit, not too much. Then margarines, chips, fries, things like that. Cake, there's a lot of fat in cake and cookies and everything. So that is the not so good type of fat. And we need to have enough proteins, and not only from meat, also from fish, and egg is a very good protein deliverer for us, as well as beans, for example. So also there you need to have some balance. And the micronutrients for a lot come from our fruits and vegetables that we eat when they are still having what they used to have. So there is another problem that we face nowadays, that even if we do eat fruits and vegetables, they don't contain as much vitamins and minerals as they did 30 years ago. Some of the reasons are that we get a lot from abroad, so people pick it unripe, then it goes on the plane and it goes over the road to the stores, and when you buy grapes and the next day they're all fungus and rotten, you go back to the store and say like, I bought this yesterday, right? But because they want to avoid that, they take them off the plant when they are not ripe yet, and they let it ripen on its own. But it gets the most vitamins and minerals on the plant. So it's good to look into that, and maybe also to see if you can supplement a little bit that what you cannot get from your diet. And if you feel like for your personal situation you would like to know something more, I could advise you on supplements. I can test out with the help of kinesiology if there are some deficiencies, because like I said, you can have this ADI, this advised daily intake, but nobody is the same. So it could be that in your situation you need to eat some more fruits and maybe take magnesium or take vitamin C or something else, even for a little while, because you can see what is depleted and you can test that out. Really interesting. So I can advise you what to look for supplements or maybe health products. I would gladly tell you more about what I just discovered recently. I'm really enthusiastic about it. And I could also test your food pattern. So it's slightly different. I use the kinesiology test for it as well. And then you look more at the macronutrients and the other elements that you eat and drink every day, and see if your body says, well, for my system, I don't get enough of this, or I get too much of that. And then we really tie it down to your situation, and we can look into, well, what your body would want to change in that. And you can find a kinesiology session on my name, www.elsewine.com, and you can find more information there or find my email, send me a message if you'd like to know more.